You ever move somewhere new and feel like the walls already know your name? Welcome to my new apartment. Or at least that's how my first vlog started. I just moved to Portland after my breakup, ready for a fresh start. That's what everyone says when they're running from something, right? I was 29, broke, half-packed, and pretending to be excited about a one-bedroom apartment that smelled like bleach and rainwater. The place was small, creaky floors, narrow kitchen, and a bathroom mirror that made me look slightly off. The landlord, Mr. Higgins, was a quiet old man who smiled too long and handed me the keys with a weird warning. Don't lose these, and don't mess with the crawlspace hatch. It's been sealed for a reason. I laughed, assuming it was some safety thing. He didn't laugh back. The first night, I unpacked a few boxes, poured myself a glass of cheap wine, and stood in the bathroom brushing my teeth. That's when I saw it. A sticky note on the corner of the mirror. 3 words written in shaky black ink. Don't trust the landlord. I actually laughed out loud. Someone was trying to mess with me, probably the last tenant. I peeled it off and tossed it in the trash. Didn't think much of it. The next morning, I woke up to another one. Same yellow square, same handwriting, stuck right above the faucet. He's watching. Okay, that one got under my skin. I called the landlord, told him about it, expecting a quick, "Oh, that's weird. Maybe someone still has a key." But his voice went cold. "You found a note?" "Yeah, 2, actually." A long pause. Then quietly, "If you see another one, let me know right away." No explanation. Just that. By the 3rd night, I couldn't sleep. The apartment made these strange sounds, soft creaks, a faint hum, like something breathing through the vents. Around 2:30 a.m., I got up to get some water and noticed the bathroom door was half open. The light inside was on. I was sure I'd turned it off before bed. On the mirror, another note. Don't go into the crawl space. I felt a chill spread up my spine. That was the first time I realized whoever was doing this wasn't coming through the door. They were already inside. The next morning, I checked the entire apartment. Closets, cabinets, under the bed. Nothing. I even looked for hidden cameras. I found none. But behind the shower curtain, above the tiles, there was a faint rectangular outline. The edge of a small metal panel near the ceiling. The crawlspace hatch, painted over, sealed shut, but definitely there. I climbed onto the counter and pressed my ear against it. No sound, just the smell. A faint, sour, metallic odor, like rust and something else. Something organic. That night, I started recording myself, just to prove nothing weird was happening. I set my phone up on a tripod in the corner of the bedroom, hit record, and went to sleep. When I woke up, I checked the footage immediately. For the first few hours, nothing. Just me tossing around, rolling over, normal sleep. Then around 3:17 a.m., my body sat upright. Not fast, slow, deliberate, like a puppet being pulled by invisible strings. I climbed out of bed, eyes closed. I walked straight into the bathroom. The next 40 seconds made my stomach twist. I stopped in front of the mirror. My reflection didn't move for a moment. It just stared like the me in the mirror was waiting. Then I reached up, pulled the sticky notes out of the cabinet, and began placing them one by one on the mirror. My own handwriting. The final moment froze me. I leaned toward the mirror, pressed my lips close to the glass, and whispered something. The microphone barely caught it, but I turned the volume all the way up. You can hear me say, "He's almost done fixing me." I don't remember any of it. I don't remember waking up. I don't remember writing those notes, but there was no denying it. It was me. That morning, I called the landlord again. No answer. I called again. Straight to voicemail. So I walked downstairs to his office, barefoot, wearing a hoodie. The office door was slightly open. I knocked. No response. Inside, the room was empty. The walls were bare, except for one thing, a wall of tenant photos. Polaroids, dozens of them. each labeled with a name and move-in date. Every single photo had a tenant smiling, holding their keys. But the last 5 were scratched out with red ink. The last one had my name written under it. Sarah Cole, 2023. And in the photo, I wasn't smiling. I wasn't even holding keys. I was staring straight at the camera, mouth open, as if someone had caught me mid-scream. I stood there staring at the wall of tenant photos, my heart pounding so hard it hurt. The scratched out faces felt intentional, like whoever had done it wanted to erase them from existence. My picture was the newest, half torn, taped back together. I backed away slowly, not wanting to touch anything. The floorboards creaked under my bare feet. "Mr. Higgins?" I called, my voice trembling. "It's Sarah, from 3B. No answer. But from somewhere in the back room, I heard a faint thump. Like something fell, then dragging, slow, steady dragging. I froze. The sound stopped when I did. For a moment, I convinced myself it was a rat or a pipe shifting. I wanted it to be that. Anything normal. I grabbed my phone, shined the light toward the half-open door leading deeper into the office. Dust floated in the beam like snow. I pushed the door open with my foot. Nothing but an empty storage room. Old chairs, boxes, and a single desk fan buzzing even though it wasn't plugged in. When I turned back, the wall of photos was gone. Just blank drywall. I blinked, trying to process. No, it couldn't be. I just seen them. My photo. The scratches. The names. Now there was only faint dust marks where frames used to hang. I stood there for maybe 2 full minutes, my mind spinning, until I realized my phone screen had gone black dead battery. When I left the office, the air outside felt heavier. The clouds hung low, gray, and bloated with rain. I went back upstairs, locked the door, and tried to breathe. Maybe I was losing it. Stress, insomnia, unpacking, loneliness. It all adds up. I told myself I'd take a nap. Just a short one. I woke up to tapping. Light, rhythmic tapping. It was dark now, but my phone said 2:58 a.m. The tapping came from the bathroom. Not on the door, from inside. I slid out of bed and listened. The tapping stopped. Then softly came a whisper, my name. Sarah. I ran back to bed, pulled the covers up, tried to tell myself I was dreaming. That's when my phone screen lit up. A text from an unknown number. Unknown. Don't open the hatch. My breath hitched. I wanted to text back, but before I could, the phone died again. That morning, I packed a small bag and drove to a motel. I couldn't stay there, not another night. But by the afternoon, I was back. I told myself I needed to grab my laptop, a few clothes, that's all. I'd get out for good after that. When I entered, the apartment was cold. All the windows were shut. But the bathroom door was wide open again. On the mirror, another note. You shouldn't have left, and written just below it, in smaller handwriting, he followed you. I backed away, tears stinging my eyes. I needed answers, right then, the crawl space. I grabbed a kitchen knife and climbed onto the counter. The hatch looked smaller than before, like it had sunk into the ceiling. I ran my fingers along the edge. Paint cracked under my nails. Then I saw the screws, fresh ones. Someone had resealed it recently. I pressed my ear against it again. Silence. But when I whispered, "Hello?" something whispered back. So soft, so faint, it almost blended with the sound of my breath. "Help me," I stumbled back, hitting the wall. My heart slammed against my ribs like a drum. I called the police. Told them I thought someone was living above me, maybe trapped. They came, 2 officers, calm and skeptical. They checked the attic access from the building's hallway. One came back, shaking his head. "There's no crawl space above your unit," he said. "Just concrete. You're on the top floor." I tried to argue, begged them to check the hatch in my bathroom. They did. One officer climbed onto the counter, tapped it, then gave me this look. The kind people give when they don't to believe you but feel sorry anyway. There's no panel here, ma'am. It's just ceiling paint, but I could still see the outline. Faint grayish, visible only when the light hit right. I touched it with my fingertip. It felt warm. After they left, I sat on the couch shaking, knife still in my hand, feeling like I'd fallen into someone else's nightmare. I didn't sleep that night, just sat staring at the ceiling. Around 3 a.m., my phone buzzed again. Dead phone, black screen, but it vibrated twice, then lit up. One video file, unlabeled, automatically saved. I opened it. It was my bedroom again, same camera angle from before. The timestamp said 3:16 a.m. last night. I watched myself sit up, eyes closed. I stood, turned to the camera, and smiled. Slowly, too wide. Then I whispered, almost done. I left the frame, went into the bathroom. The video kept recording. After about a minute, I came back, dragging something behind me. It was small, pale, and moving. A person, a woman. Her wrists were twisted, her eyes wide open. She looked exactly like me. I couldn't breathe. I replayed the video at least 10 times, hoping it was an edit, a glitch, anything. But every frame was perfect. My bedroom, my blanket, me and her. The woman I dragged looked like me. Same face, same hair, even the scar on my wrist from when I was 10. But her eyes weren't mine. They were blank, unfocused, like she'd been emptied. When the video ended, my phone shut off again. Just black, cold in my hand. I threw it across the room and sat there shaking until sunrise. By morning, I looked through every inch of the apartment. No trace of anyone. No blood, no marks, no sign that anything had been dragged. For a moment, I thought maybe I was losing my mind. Maybe I dreamt it all, like the sticky notes, like the voices. Until I opened the closet. Inside, behind a pile of my coats, there was another sticky note, fresh yellow paper. She's not the first. I drove straight to the police station. I didn't care how insane I sounded. I told them everything, the notes, the videos, the crawl space. The officer listened, tapping his pen, then asked calmly, "What's your landlord's name again?" "Higgins. Walter Higgins." "He owns the building." He frowned and looked at the computer. After a few clicks, he said, "There's no Walter Higgins registered for that address. The property's owned by a management company. Has been since 2012. I stared at him. "No, he's real." "I've met him." The officer leaned back. "Ma'am, the last reported manager at that complex, a man named Walter Higgins, died in 2011. My stomach dropped. "That's not possible." He printed a record for me. There it was, black and white. Walter G. Higgins, deceased. Heart failure, age 72. When I got back to the building, my front door was already open. The living room looked normal. Too normal. Everything exactly where it belonged, except for the smell. That faint metallic rot again, stronger now. I followed it to the bathroom. The hatch in the ceiling was slightly ajar. My heart sank. It had never opened before. I grabbed my phone, turned on the flashlight, and climbed onto the counter. I reached up. Cold air poured down, damp and thick like basement air. The beam caught movement, something pale shifting inside. "Hello?" I whispered. No answer. But then came a sound, not a voice, not a whisper, a scratching, like fingernails against wood. Then a hand appeared. Thin, gray, trembling, human. It gripped the edge of the hatch and pulled. I stumbled back, falling off the counter. A face peeked through the opening. Mine, except it wasn't exactly me. Her skin was cracked, lips blue, eyes wide and glossy like wet glass. She smiled. The same wrong, wide smile I'd seen on the video. "Don't leave me again," she said. I screamed. Ran for the door. When I pulled it open, the hallway outside was gone. Just gone. The doorway opened into the same apartment again. The same furniture, the same smell. I slammed it shut and opened it again. Same thing. My living room. I was trapped inside my own apartment, or a copy of it. That's when the lights flickered. The TV turned on by itself, showing the security footage again, looping. Me dragging the body over and over. The sound warped, distorted. Whispers layered over the static. He's almost done fixing me. He's almost done fixing me. He's almost done. I covered my ears and screamed, but it kept getting louder until the TV exploded in a shower of sparks. Then silence. My reflection in the black screen moved. Even though I hadn't, it smiled, tilted its head, then whispered something that made my skin crawl. He's here, knocking, soft, rhythmic. At first, I thought it was coming from the door. Then I realized it was from underneath me. The floorboards. I backed into the corner, every muscle frozen. The knocking turned into scraping. Then came a low groan of wood as the floor bulged upward, cracking slightly. Dust fell from the ceiling. Something was moving underneath the apartment, slow, heavy. I grabbed my phone again, its screen flickering to life just long enough for me to see one new message from that same unknown number. You opened it. The floor split open with a loud crack. Dust filled the air. I screamed and stumbled back as something dark pushed through the boards. A figure, crawling upward, its skin gray and slick, wearing what looked like a maintenance uniform. It was him, Mr. Higgins, only his face was wrong. Melted, half-rotted, eyes clouded white. His mouth hung open, and when he spoke, his voice came from somewhere deeper, as if echoing through a tunnel. You said you wanted to be rebuilt, Sarah. I pressed myself against the wall. Stay away from me. He reached out a trembling hand, smiling. The others tried to leave, but not you. You came back. I bolted for the door, any door, but they all led to the same place. Every exit, every room, just looped back into the apartment. The same flickering light, the same smell. Behind me, his voice rose. You're almost done. I ran until my lungs burned, but every corner led back to the same hallway, the same flickering bulb above the bathroom door. The apartment had folded in on itself like a trap. The walls pulsed faintly, breathing with the rhythm of my heartbeat. I pressed a hand against the plaster. It was warm, almost wet. Something moved behind it. A faint ripple traveled across the surface like skin stretching. Sarah. His voice came from everywhere now. From the vents, from beneath the floor, even from behind the mirror. You said you wanted a fresh start. I just gave you one. I screamed, grabbed the nearest thing, my lamp, and smashed it against the wall. It cracked open with a wet pop, and for half a second, I saw what was inside. A face, or maybe dozens, melted together in the plaster, eyes wide, mouths frozen mid-scream. I stumbled back, my breath shallow. The lights dimmed until only the bathroom glowed, a sickly yellow. The hatch above the shower was now gaping open. Something dripped down from it, slow and steady, dark, thick, metallic. Blood. Come back, Sarah, the voice whispered. You're almost perfect. I should have run. I should have closed my eyes. But instead, I climbed onto the counter again, drawn by something I couldn't name. I raised my phone flashlight and aimed it up into the hatch. Bodies, dozens of them, pressed together in the narrow space like dolls in a box. All of them had my face. One of them turned her head toward the light. Please, help me. My scream echoed through the tiny bathroom, but before I could move, two gray hands shot down from the opening and gripped my shoulders. They were freezing, slick, impossibly strong. I kicked, slipped, crashed to the floor, but the hands were gone. The hatch slammed shut. I crawled away, shaking, my chest heaving, then silence. For a moment, I thought it was over. Then my phone buzzed again. A notification, a camera app recording. I didn't touch it, but it was already running. I stared at the screen. It was showing the live feed from my front door. Mr. Higgins stood there, clean now, normal, smiling. He knocked once. I threw the phone across the room. The knock echoed again, louder this time. 3 slow knocks. I held my breath, waiting, praying it would stop. It didn't. The door creaked open by itself, inch by inch. And standing in the doorway wasn't Mr. Higgins anymore. It was me, or something that looked like me. Her eyes were wrong solid black, her skin stretched too tight over her bones. She tilted her head and smiled. "Why do you keep trying to leave?" I backed up until my spine hit the wall. "You're not real." She laughed, a quiet, broken sound. "I wasn't, but you made me real when you opened the hatch." She stepped forward. The smell of rot and damp earth filled the air. "You were supposed to replace me, but you broke the loop." "What loop?" I gasped. "The apartment needs someone to keep it alive," she whispered. "He fixes us, we stay. When one leaves, another must take her place." I shook my head violently. "No, I'm not part of this." Her smile widened, splitting her cheek. "You already are." Behind her, the hallway rippled again, and through it stepped Mr. Higgins, except his body wasn't solid anymore. He looked like he was made of smoke and bone dust, flickering between shapes. He placed a decayed hand on her shoulder. "She's ready," he said. I screamed and ran for the window. I didn't think. I just threw my body through the glass. Cold air hit my face, then blackness. When I woke up, I was lying on a couch. Bright lights above me. A nurse leaned over, smiling. "You're awake," she said softly. "You've been through a lot." I blinked. "Where am I?" "Oregon State Hospital. You were found outside your apartment building. You fell from the 3rd floor." The memory rushed back like a knife to the gut. "My apartment, there's something inside. You have to seal it." "The crawl space," the nurse frowned. "Crawl space?" "Honey, that building doesn't even have an attic." "They demolished it after the fire." I stared at her. "Fire?" She nodded. 3 years ago. Faulty wiring. "No survivors." I tried to speak, but my throat closed up. I looked toward the small mirror hanging on the opposite wall. My reflection smiled. But I didn't. 2 months later, a young couple moved into the newly rebuilt apartments on Hawthorne Avenue. Nice place, good price. On their first night, the wife unpacked a few boxes, walked into the bathroom, and stopped. A sticky note on the mirror. 3 words in shaky black ink. "Don't trust the landlord."